Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fifth edition of the REIMAGINE 2020 virtual conference series, brought to you by MouseBelt and Multi.io. I'm your co-host, Ashlie Meredith, and today we're bringing you our end of the year special Happy Hodl Days. We're delighted to have Pat Duffy with us. He's the co-founder of The Giving Block. Hello, Pat. How are you doing today?
Hey, Ashley, doing good. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you so much for joining us. For anyone who's just tuning in, Pat is going to be another one of our guests who's kind of working at the intersection of nonprofits and crypto. So we've got some other interviews with people working in this space. We're both passionate about working with universities and students. So make sure that you head over to our Reimagine 2020 YouTube channel, smash that subscribe button, check out some of our other interviews. But back to Pat. As you know, I work with a lot of students, so I always like to ask my interviewers, how did you get into blockchain? And for all of our students tuning in who might be thinking about a career in blockchain, what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, absolutely. So, kind of a funny part of my story, I spent a few years mocking Bitcoin relentlessly before I got into it. So it was like a running joke. We had a buddy at my school who would mock for his Bitcoin investing. He would always throw money into it. We'd say he could pay you in Bitcoin. Everyone would laugh. And now I wake up in cold sweats because he stacked quite a bit throughout that time. And then following school, graduated Wake Forest 2016, political science degree, communications degree, double major, just kind of vague and floating type majors, not a real focus on what I would do. Ended up in the pharmaceutical sector, working with their lobbyists, on working with nonprofits for the most part. It was called Alliance Development, and that's how I ended up in the nonprofit sector, at which point, end of 2017, Bitcoin price skyrocketed, and we saw Pineapple funds and a few $100 million get donated to nonprofits. So that's kind of how I got into it. I started trading just before that, and then paying attention to the Pineapple Fund and whatnot. We needed to create a system for the Lupus Foundation to take crypto.
And so, yeah, you're from the DC area, so you were kind of working in that world of lobbyists, nonprofits, probably international development. Didn't take crypto seriously in college, but kind of got your attention when you saw the price going up and these massive donations being made in crypto.
Yeah, 100%. Totally fell into it. And then really an even better answer to the question is Alex Wilson, who's my co-founder here at The Giving Block. He got me into trading it, and he was a very savvy investor. We were both hyper competitive about crypto trading for a short stint. And then I quickly realized definitely not my thing. But the industry, like once you're in it, you're kind of locked in. So once we started trading, we knew we were going to do something in the sector.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get interested in, and a lot of the students I talk to, a lot of these clubs initially started as enthusiast groups for this new thing, Bitcoin. They were called like Bitcoin clubs, but then maybe they changed their names to blockchain clubs because initially people kind of got hooked by trading or mining Bitcoin, and then kind of dived deeper into the tech and got really interested in how these technologies could help industries that maybe they were already working in, such as the nonprofit sector. So The Giving Block, tell us the background of how that got started.
Yeah, so it's a company that we bootstrapped for a while. We set up the Lupus Foundation to take crypto donations just because we wanted to kind of catch that end of 2017 tailwind. And then all through 2018, as the price dropped, we were already locked in as a nonprofit on building out the setup. We needed to find a good exchange solution for nonprofits that worked for them. They had a million questions. We needed to put together decks and educational materials. We had to get the board involved. We had to figure out how nonprofits updated their docs, went through compliance. Some exchanges were blocking donations at a certain level. Some exchanges wouldn't let you sell more than 10 grand a day. Some didn't have fiat off ramps. The donor experience was kind of broken. No automated tax receipts for donors. So we just started building out this technical solution for the Lupus Foundation to take crypto. And quickly, kind of as we were working through the process, we realized it was something we could copy and paste, sell to other nonprofits. And yeah, through a dozen clients that we kind of pulled together while we still had full-time jobs, we started setting up nonprofits to take crypto. And then end of 2019, we launched the first Bitcoin Tuesday, which we just got through the second yesterday. And that was like our big kind of coming out party where we had 12 nonprofits brought together, a bunch of crypto corporate partners throwing up match dollars. We had a Brave ads takeover on the day last year. And we just kind of quickly saw that the crypto community was craving relationships with the nonprofit community because of the branding and the opportunity to drive mainstream adoption. And the nonprofits obviously love it because it's fun and exciting, and everything in their world is pretty stale. Yeah.
Well, so take me back a bit and go through, especially for the students tuning in who might be interested in a more entrepreneurial route to joining the blockchain space, or kind of have a passion for doing good. Doing was kind of a corporate term. You see some companies throw out, but doing well by doing good, right? Becoming successful by having a business model that's trying to do good. What was the actual process for coming up with the idea, executing it? What was that moment of inspiration? What were the conversations like? And when did you, like, what kind of had you pull the trigger to start your own thing?
Yeah. I mean, especially just because of your audience, like if they're in blockchain and crypto, they're going to realize like 99% of it, just like kind of the internet boom, or anytime there's a bubble formed around an asset class on top of some underlying layer of value, like most of the companies that you're going to talk to, or solutions or cryptocurrencies that are getting invented, are like completely unnecessary. Most blockchain solutions aren't needed. You're square pegging in a round hole. So identifying problems where there's actually a demand for some sort of a solution is really key. I feel like everyone in the nonprofit space, when we were getting into it, was trying to develop their own DAO or decentralized solutions that like nonprofits were already solving for. Create smart contracts that could distribute stuff to people in different countries, or trying to get direct aid, make sure the crypto made it all the way to an end recipient. And like 99% of what could have been awesome energy broke down because people weren't willing to ultimately compromise and find a solution that was a little less sexy and interesting, but could actually plug in and get the industry to pay attention. So when we moved in, like one of the first things we did is like use as little blockchain and crypto as possible. We just set up a solution where the nonprofits get crypto. It gives the donors an amazing tax incentive, which we can get into too. I guess saying we use is, it's really dumb to spend Bitcoin when you can spend dollars, but it's really dumb to donate dollars when you can donate Bitcoin, just because there's an additional tax incentive. But yeah, so avoid using too much blockchain, like find a way. Cryptocurrency already exists. Don't make your own almost ever. Find a way to get that to people who need it, or to use it in a cool, unique way. And just bring it to all of these sectors that aren't currently engaged. That's what's going to drive adoption, more than kind of inventing something from scratch that's a little bit derivative.
Absolutely. Well, I think that kind of brings us to my next question was, how you actually work with companies. I think one of the things that you solve for, seems pretty obvious, but, maybe people miss the forest for the trees, right? They really want to have everything on the blockchain. They want all this donation tracking, and realize that really simply, if you want people to make tax deductible donations, you have to give them a good tax receipt. And so that if that's missing, like that just seems very simple, but I can see how people might not have solved for it yet. So you saw kind of these little things, like how can we just make this process so much smoother, make it really easy for people to donate crypto to nonprofits, make it really easy for the nonprofits to receive the crypto. So yeah, definitely interested to hear, more of the products and services that you offer, how you work directly with companies, and how you're bringing crypto to the nonprofit world.
Yeah. So like a few things done back in there in terms of working with the companies. There's like a few different tracks. Like some companies have their own cryptocurrency or a foundation that's sitting on a big pile of it. The tax incentive is huge for them there, where they can like allocate their cryptocurrency directly to nonprofits, offset their capital gains tax burdens, and do something really awesome with nonprofits who also, just to like be frank, have a marketing budget and can drive a lot of mainstream adoption of their products. So that's like one big part of what we do. And I guess the secondary component of working with companies is like there's a million different points where, or a million different types of companies that have high traffic. Cryptocurrency exchanges, the apps where you check crypto prices, where you manage your portfolio, crypto tax software companies, crypto media outlets. There's all these folks who are working in a sector where people hang out, like in concentrated balls. we just pretty much try to get them to get the word out to people that we set up nonprofits to take cryptocurrency. And you can pretty much choose between giving some of your crypto to the IRS or giving it to a nonprofit. It's the literal decision everyone has to make at the end of every year. Most people just don't know about the tax incentive, so they sit on crypto. People also hate spending it, obviously, because why would you? So we just try to get the word out that way, just to a bunch of different folks in crypto, as many folks in crypto as we possibly can. And then keep those companies coming back and what we're building into more or less a coalition. So each company we work with, it's not like a one-time sponsorship. They write a check where they donate crypto. That money is used fully for sponsor dollars for the nonprofits. It gets distributed them to donate match. And then after that, we pretty much connect them with the nonprofits and try to build out marketing materials, work together on op-eds and publish blog posts, get them to do unique initiatives that they can work directly with the nonprofits. And that's kind of what the partnerships look like. Then in terms of products and services, what we do for nonprofits is one, set them up to take crypto, and then two, help them fundraise it. And that second piece is kind of what separated us out. So nonprofits could accept crypto for a while. Like you get set up with like a payment processor and just take crypto, but that doesn't get you in front of anyone who has crypto. It also doesn't help you speak the language or to put it into your materials, hit up your newsletters, integrate it into your site properly. Pretty much drive actual fundraising outcomes. So what we do is we kind of blended what we were doing early on. We're like a consultancy, helping the nonprofits with a ton of hand-holding and marketing resources with our technical product that makes it easier to donate. And like for Bitcoin Tuesday, for instance, yesterday, every nonprofit gets a marketing toolkit. So it's got a million different posts for them to tag or to put out there, tags of the partners who are involved. We put in like GIFs of a million different crypto memes. We've got like Leonardo DiCaprio throwing Bitcoins off the boat and all that stuff. And then these nonprofits.
Yeah, you got to educate the nonprofits on like crypto Twitter and all of these memes, right? Like if they're not kind of in the know, I think it's a really good resource for them to kind of understand the space. Like you said, anybody can throw up a payment processor that can take crypto, but you're going the extra mile by telling these companies or these nonprofits, here's kind of the culture, here's what people are interested in, here are some cool campaigns you can do, join us for Bitcoin Tuesday, and it's a huge, massive thing. So yeah, I definitely think that second part of it that you said, sets you apart a little bit, kind of going the extra mile to really start integrating nonprofits in this unique crypto community.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. We have two demographics. One is crypto users, one is nonprofits. We make it really, really easy for crypto companies and users to work with nonprofits in a way that benefits them. We don't do the classic nonprofit thing, like give away your money just for good. Like we want that part to be front and center. We let the nonprofits tell their individual stories. But like anytime we ask someone to make a donation or a company to participate in a campaign, like we make it really clear that we put in a lot of hours to make sure that you get benefit out of it, or that you're getting, say, as a donor, like that amazing tax incentive. We want it to be like a logos appeal as much as it is like pathos. And then for the nonprofit side, we make it really easy to take crypto and fundraise it effectively. And that's kind of what we do, just try to pull them as close to the center as we can.
Yeah, and I think also just the education of the crypto community of the tax incentives that are there if you donate your crypto, that you're either just going to spend it at the IRS or you can put it towards something good. And it's really important for this mass adoption, right? And for the growth of the community in general. You said, people don't like to spend their crypto. How are we supposed to believe that this is a unit of value if we're not using it? Right, if we're not spending it, and I think it can only be good for the price and for Bitcoin and for mass adoption.
Yeah, so I'm going to push back on that slightly on the spending it piece, because people think about, this is super important. Like one of the biggest things to emphasize in this conversation is people think of donating crypto as spending crypto. Like that's not what we're talking about. Spending crypto and getting it at like point of purchase is going to be a huge crypto adoption curve that we need to get over. But that's going to happen with stablecoin adoption. Like you never really should be spending an anti-inflationary asset like Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, but you have dollars that are burning a hole in your bank account because people keep printing it and making it worth less. If you're spending the thing going up instead of the thing that's going down, that's a dumb thing to do. So when we ask people to donate crypto, they're like, why would I donate crypto when I can take out a credit card and give you something that I clearly find to be less valuable? And then we have to explain to them because they don't know the tax incentive. Like let's say you're going to give $1 million to a nonprofit, which happens all the time, by people who own crypto and don't know about the tax incentive. If you donated the $1 million in Bitcoin instead, and you just took the million out of your bank and bought back your $1 million Bitcoin position, you would now have the same amount of Bitcoin you would have had you donated the cash, but you just erased $200,000 in capital gains taxes. And people don't recognize that it's like you can just buy back your position right after you donate, and now you don't owe tax on the Bitcoin that you gave. And that applies to any cryptocurrency that's marked as a property asset, which is any crypto you speculate on the price currently. So anytime you own crypto and you donate with a credit card, what you're doing is, like, not to be an ass, but something stupid, because you shouldn't do that. You're throwing money away if you own crypto and you donate with a credit card. Now, if you don't own crypto, like, don't buy some just to donate it because you want to accumulate any cap gains tax. We get that from nonprofits sometimes, like advising their board on how to buy into Bitcoin and give it to them to make extra money. It's like, doesn't work like that. But anyway, that's, long story short, that's the tax incentive. Donate Bitcoin and then buy back your position if you don't want to part with your crypto.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great lesson for anyone tuning in. Major education that maybe needs to happen in the crypto space, that when you're donating crypto, you are not spending it. So we'll make sure, you know, that's the big lesson here. So before we dive into Bitcoin Tuesday, which just happened yesterday, this interview will be airing sometime over the weekend, December 4th through 6th for REIMAGINE 2020 v5. Happy HODL days. But you just did Bitcoin Tuesday yesterday, and I want to hear all about it. But I'm just curious, you said, you know, you kind of take donations and distribute them among a lot of different nonprofits, but you also can facilitate, you know, crypto companies who maybe want to work directly with a specific nonprofit and do their own unique campaigns. I'm just wondering if you've seen anything particularly interesting or unique collaborations between a crypto company and a nonprofit.
Yeah, definitely. So like if you're a donor and you arrive at our site, you pick individual nonprofits to donate to. So you're not like we're not like a DAF or a middleman. Like we don't take in crypto and then distribute it to the nonprofits who get to pick and choose winners. You donate directly to an nonprofit. We set them up with a Gemini account on the back end and they receive their crypto directly. And they own that account, which is super cool. They actually genuinely set up a crypto account in the name of the organization. When it comes to companies, we do two kinds of things. Mainly, one is the company can donate a lump sum to be distributed evenly among the nonprofits, which is fantastic. It's great for the whole platform. And then like everyone on the platform, all these amazing nonprofits get like some sort of a win. And then the other thing we can do when it comes to like sponsor dollars that are going in to be a corporate match, we can work with a smaller pool of nonprofits like Gemini on Bitcoin Tuesday, put up $20,000 in crypto match. And that was for Children International, Save the Children, and No Kid Hungry. They had a partnership with No Kid Hungry. They've been doing for like over a year now, which has been really cool. They've done like ads and worked together on some cool initiatives. But they picked those three because it was like Support Future Leaders initiative, and they wanted it to be kid focused. It was in alignment with their brand. And then all of those three organizations, the nonprofits, are like posting about it. The leaderships are engaging with one another. They're finding new ways over the next few months to work together and collaborate. All of that stuff is obviously awesome for adoption.
Yeah, that's super cool. So Gemini was already working with one of these, you know, children-focused nonprofits, decided to kind of expand their campaign, and were able to work more closely with some of the children-focused nonprofits that you work with. Yeah, so that's awesome. So for our global audience, you know, maybe for anyone who isn't entirely familiar, we have kind of a series of corporate holidays in the US. Maybe this has kind of become more global now. Of traditionally you have Thanksgiving and everybody has a day off Friday. So they have Black Friday, which is an attempt for companies to kind of get in the black for the year by doing a bunch of sales and getting a lot of foot traffic. So people, maybe not so much this year, go out to the stores on Friday to kind of do all their Christmas shopping. From that, you know, we have Cyber Monday where all the online sales happen. And then the nonprofit world has kind of jumped on that as well with Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesdays is the day of this whole week or weekend of shopping and discounts and sales where people are encouraged to kind of put some of that money for the holiday season back into organizations that are doing good, that are feeding children, all of that kind of stuff. So traditionally it's called hashtag Giving Tuesday. Those are some of the campaigns that run, but you guys are doing hashtag Bitcoin Tuesday. So tell us all about that, how it went yesterday, and how people can maybe participate going forward when they see this over the weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, so we Giving Tuesday is, like you said, it's like the biggest international day of giving. And we kind of hijack that as the kickoff for end of year campaign that we do every year. And we pretty much use it as a marketing day more than even a fundraising day, but we've already raised almost $500,000. We're like halfway to our December goal, which was to raise $1 million for charities over that month.
Amazing.
Yeah, we're really excited. We think we're hopefully blow through and set new levels as we go. A bunch of cool companies coming in and throwing up corporate match dollars too, and forming these nonprofit partnerships that are starting to blossom as well. But we use it as a kickoff for the month of December. So pretty much all the nonprofits get marketing toolkits, which we touched on earlier. They get day-by-day instructions on how to participate. Here are the tweets that you can use, links to their fundraising profiles. We generate graphics and content. We do like coaching sessions in the weeks leading up to answer questions from their marketing teams, walk them through how to use everything, coach them on what's going to go down for the day, tell them about the companies that are partnering and how they can engage with them. And then on that day, we pretty much launch our end of year bag season campaign, #bag-season. And that just stands for Bitcoin annual gifts or Bitcoin annual giving. That's that one time a year tax offset donation that a lot more people in crypto are making now. And they do it in December so that they can get that additional write-off and the erasure of the capital gains tax at the end of the year. So yesterday, I mean, it was Rainn Wilson, who's Dwight from The Office, was tweeting for the Mona Foundation. He released a video. He's offering through December. He'll shout you out on Twitter if you donate $1,000 more in crypto. And if anyone donates 10 Bitcoin or more at any point to the Mona Foundation over this December period, he will have a virtual dinner with you and your friends, which is pretty cool. Tony Hawk.
Wait, I want in on this. How much do you have to donate to get dinner with Dwight from The Office?
So like right now, almost $200,000. So it would have to be quite a whale. I don't know how much crypto you're sitting on, but if it's worth it to you, we hope that you do it for sure. Or anybody listening. We've seen yesterday, we have like one of the biggest pledges now is $250,000. So like there are plenty of people with so much crypto that makes the most sense for their taxes, which is cool. So if that one goes through, maybe they'll want the Rainn Wilson dinner. But yeah, that Tony Hawk was tweeting for the Skate Park Foundation. We're going to get a handful of different celebrities who post throughout the month. So it's cool kind of getting celebrities at the intersection when you combine a celebrity name with Bitcoin plus a charity. Like the marketing outcomes are, of course, fantastic. But that's it. Long story short, it's a kickoff for a month-long campaign to teach people about the tax incentive and then get them to contribute to the charities that are pro-crypto.
Oh my gosh, well, that is so cool. Hearing that, Rainn Wilson, Tony Hawk are talking about Bitcoin. So I think you're doing, great work for adoption. It seems like, a win-win situation for the people donating crypto to offset their capital gains tax, to feel like they're doing something good, to get some excitement and fun going on, especially holiday season, getting celebrities to talk about Bitcoin, furthering adoption. And then it's great for the nonprofits as well. They're kind of able to tap into a whole new segment of people who have a lot of funds and want to put them towards their causes. So if people want to participate, big kickoff happened yesterday for Bitcoin Tuesday, already halfway to your fundraising goal. This interview is airing over the weekend, December 4th through the 6th. What can people expect from the campaign for the rest of the month, and how can they get involved?
Yeah. So if you work at a crypto company, the best way to get involved, just reach out to us. We have like a partner app on our site, or you can just send us an email, info@thegivingblock.com. Every partnership is customized. We pretty much just talk to the company, see what you're trying to accomplish, what's unique about that company, tell them about the different nonprofits, and just find a cool way for you guys to get whatever conversions you're looking for over that month. And then support the charities, obviously through charitable gifts and through even just the marketing opportunities, which is awesome. More companies who get involved, obviously the more reach the campaign has, that attracts more donors, and that's better outcomes for everybody. If you're an individual, donating is huge. If you're an influencer, obviously spreading the word about the fact that we're doing this. Again, all of the money is obviously going through to charitable causes, and they're all, I guess, really important for anyone to note. If you want to donate, if you want to share it on social, if you want to participate in a fundraising event, we're doing trivia and a bunch of other cool fundraisers, NFT auctions. Just super important to note, all of these charities are actually pro crypto. So versus like I remember back in the day, people would use DAFs like give to nonprofits super early on. All of these nonprofits are leveraging marketing toolkits. Their teams are like jumping on calls and like trying to figure out how Bitcoin works and like pumping that out in their newsletters. And my alma mater, Wake Forest, actually just put out a hashtag Bitcoin Tuesday release to all of the alumni yesterday, which was hilarious and awesome.
Oh, very cool.
So yeah, I mean, the one thing to keep in mind is like all these charities are really pro crypto. So just reach out to us unless you like know you're making a donation or do something on social. Just connect with us to figure out the best way to support it.
Excellent. And what's the website then? Thegivingblock.com?
Yeah.
And that's where they can find all of the information on Bitcoin Tuesday and how to become like maybe a partner, but also just donate and share online.
Yeah, 100%. Everything else.
Well, I know that especially for any nonprofit sector company, the holidays is kind of the big time of the year. Lots of campaigns going on, expecting lots of donations. But maybe you can tell us some other highlights for the Giving Block from 2020. Since it's the end of the year, we've been doing these interviews and conferences for the last 6 months, kind of inspired by COVID shutdowns. So just want to hear from you. How has 2020 been? What were some of the highlights, and how did you and your team, adjust to COVID-19 times?
Yeah, I mean, it's not unique to us, but a ton of pivots. I'm sure you've had the same experience. Everyone's got to do things differently, live differently. But we've actually, I mean, I didn't quit my old job until July of last year. We didn't run our first actual fundraising campaign until December of last year. So this has pretty much been it. We've grown the company quite a bit. It was just myself and Alex Wilson at the jump. And then as of last year, we had Mike from our team. We've now got Masha and Vitaly and a bunch of other folks who work for us. The main pivot we did was getting really ahead of the COVID-19 trend. We don't just do set fundraisers, which we see a lot in the nonprofit sector, where they just set up an awareness month. They go, we're going to ask you for money on these days, no matter what. We try to be agile. So we did the COVID-19 campaign. We had an awesome Crypto for Black Lives campaign that got a bunch of companies involved and activated for those charities. Those sorts of pivots were super helpful for us. And then I guess in terms of like behavioral changes, we've definitely gotten more used to some of our folks working remote and people kind of connecting in from different areas. We have a blockchain incubator in DC, and it's more or less a co-working space. So that's been one of the weird things, having to not have events with like 100 people from all around DC connecting around crypto and blockchain. I mean, that's it for us. We're happy that the team is growing. The company's doing great. The nonprofits are fundraising more effectively as the partnership pool grows. I guess that's all our updates.
Awesome. Yeah. My last office was in San Francisco. We had kind of a blockchain center there, crypto co-working going on, and we always did meetups. And I actually just moved to Denver in December and had gotten plugged in. There's a blockchain co-working day that's like a free pass to co-work on the first Thursday of the month, and meeting all the ETH people out here for ETH Denver and volunteering for the conference. That was like my last conference, and definitely was glad I could get kind of plugged in right before everything shut down, but definitely missing those big events. It's been great to see people so willing to connect virtually. And just get to talk to people all over the world, because now it's kind of the order of the day. And it seems like companies are just more willing to offer their time to come talk to students, especially for what I do in my work, do guest speaking slots for students who want to hear more about blockchain. And people are just so much more willing to hop on a call with you from all over the world, because we're all stuck at home. So that's been nice. Part of it, as hard as this year has been.
I want to ask you too, not to cut you off, but how did you get into crypto? Because we didn't talk about it before the interview.
Oh yeah. So I worked with the MouseBelt team years ago on a startup in Silicon Valley. We went through an accelerator, had that experience. I was actually a philosophy professor in my past life. So I've taught and tutored at the university level for over 12 years. But while I was in grad school, was working on this startup with some friends, did the accelerator thing, and just got a massive crash course in VCs, startup culture, marketing, all of that stuff. So that was really fun. And then I was teaching at Portland State a few years later, and the team had been doing, crypto integrations for some of their stuff, had a team of engineers that were starting to build blockchain applications, and they teamed up with a venture capital fund to put in capital and engineering resources into projects. Kind of got sick of the whole ICO boom where people were raising tons of money and building no product. So we wanted to be really hands-on. And after having that experience of accelerators that just throw money at projects and kind of hope to make back their investment by having one unicorn, we wanted to be really hands-on and actually give development resources, actually build the products, as well as put in capital. But we wanted to build a pipeline of investments or startups or innovative ideas, or just build the blockchain ecosystem. And universities are a great way to do it. So with my experience in academia, they tapped me to kind of build our university program. So from philosophy professor to managing a university program, it actually really was a good transition because I love working with students. I still get to work with students every day, and just the philosophical underpinnings of this like financial revolution is super exciting and interesting. You find that when you talk to no coiners about what blockchain is or what Bitcoin is, you're having a philosophical conversation. What is money? And you find that people haven't really ever thought about it before. How weird it is that fiat, what fiat is, and this concept of a ledger or trust that we have in these certain institutions. And they're starting to see some people don't even know that the dollar isn't backed by gold anymore. So I find that I still get to have pretty philosophical conversations in this job. And yeah, that's my story.
That's super cool. Yeah, I agree on the philosophy piece as well. Not philosophy in terms of your major, but the philosophical aspect of crypto. We definitely try to, every time we do intro conversation with nonprofits, we want to make sure we get them to fall in love with the technology, not just tell them about the donations coming in, the volume and everything else. That's pretty much every nonprofit that we work with. Like their leadership is fully bought in on like what cryptocurrency means for making a more equitable and like systematically better version of money, which is a cool part of working with these charities as well.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I think that's, just fighting the good fight for crypto adoption again with the giving block, right? That you're having these kinds of conversations and getting the companies that are receiving these donations to not just have a buy-in of, I think what a lot of people buy into crypto for initially, right, is this is going to make me money, and then really kind of falling in love with the tech, or the potentials for decentralized finance, financial access, all these other different solutions. So that kind of brings me to like something I would just like to hear from you. We started this REIMAGINE virtual conference series as trying to take this opportunity to kind of pause, reflect, reimagine how the year could still be okay, or how can we create new systems now that we're being faced with some of these challenges. And our second series was disrupt the system. We saw a lot of political and social conflict in the months after our first event. So we were asking people, what are the blockchain use cases that you think have the most potential to disrupt our systems or create new systems, or just what are your favorite kind of blockchain use cases?
Yeah, it's a very good question. Stable coins and then patient registries are like the two that come to mind. So I don't think people outside of crypto really understand like the difference between something like a Bitcoin and a stable coin, like getting all of the value adds that Bitcoin offers in terms of a decentralized system for authorizing transactions and disrupting the middleman system that sucks so much money out of the financial ecosystem, making international remittances so much easier. There's like a million ways that money could work better and more efficiently, and then obviously not get printed into obsolescence. So stablecoin adoption is going to be really interesting, especially now that we've got like the Visa recent announcements versus like the Facebook Libras and some of these larger existing institutions who are starting to push adoption. China, obviously. So I feel like that's a really important thing to pay attention to. Just looking at cryptocurrency that isn't being actively speculated upon, thinking Bitcoin more or less is holding a stock in the idea of stable coins being adopted, I think is a better way of looking at it. It's almost like if you could hold a piece of stock that says cell phones are going to be used more widely because you get how cool the tech is, but it's like the paper isn't how you make the phone call. I think that's really cool. And then for the students that you have who aren't, like you were saying, they're more pro blockchain, less crypto. I would say things like patient registries are really interesting. You can have a system where people's information can be moved from position A to position B, and then you can have really clear cut reporting as to whether or not someone has gained access to your files. You can ultimately tie in crypto if you wanted to have a reward system where people are getting paid when they allow companies to use it, say for clinical trials or whatever else it is. Opening and closing permissions and just having that be fully transparent. You haven't just like given up medical data and then it goes into a void. I think you would get a lot more participation in the healthcare system of people sharing their data if they really knew they could track and trace it. And I think that would streamline the clinical trial process a ton.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I'm always wondering, like, why do I have to authorize my medical records from every doctor I've ever seen? And how come there's not one place where I can pay all my bills? And if someone needs to see my records, I can just give them the key or whatever, you know? Definitely looking forward to some of these data solutions from blockchain. So looking kind of forward, told us how your year went. Um, what are some of the things that you see happening in the future, maybe specifically for blockchain and nonprofits? I know we've spoken before about kind of this untapped opportunity for universities to take crypto donations, and you're interested in looking into that more with the Giving Block. Just anything that you're thinking about for the future of blockchain or crypto and nonprofits, trends you see coming in the future, or for the whole blockchain industry in general?
Yeah. On the nonprofit side, I guess starting with what you're saying with universities, universities have a handful of value propositions. One is because of um, like naturally they're adding a young user base of potential donors every single year as they're graduating a class who's on, 21, 22. Those people like very heavily gravitate toward crypto as like an investment module. So if you're not taking donations from them, when crypto is clearly going to be their most optimized way to give, they have to choose between making a decision that is worse for their taxes or supporting their university, their alma mater. So getting set up to make sure that you can form those meaningful relationships with students as they leave in the most tax incentivized way possible, it definitely increases the odds of getting your younger alums to actually donate because they have that unique tax incentive associated with it. That's one piece. And then the other piece is endowments. So like most charities can't hold on to Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. A lot of donors I know want the charities to. If you're going to give them $10 million, like I'm sure most charities will, for the most part, say, okay, we'll hold the Bitcoin. We'll figure out a way to distribute it because that's fantastic. But it's hard to tell a charity they can't use that and spend it on their operations. Universities, on the other end, have these endowments, and most of them aren't diversifying with crypto at all. And considering Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, like they're the best appreciating asset class the last 5 years, the best performing asset class of the last 10 years. Like you can look at pretty much any timeline. It's to be ignoring it after a decade of better performance than literally every other investment opportunity. This is not investment advice. I want to say also, don't put it all in there necessarily. But to not be exploring it, I guess, I think is crazy. I think you'd be out of your mind if you're a university and you haven't seriously looked into what percentage of your endowment should actually be diversified into crypto. So I think those two things are big for universities. And then for charities in general, because people are so uniquely incentivized to give in this way, if you're not taking crypto, I think you're also out of your mind. You're pretty much cutting out not only millions of people, because there's like 100 million users, but millions of young and like tech savvy donors who are, going to be part of this major wealth transfer from boomers to millennials and Gen Zs. You're denying them the form of money that they're more so gravitating toward. It's just a really bad strategic move. So I think like those are two things to look at if you're a university or a nonprofit.
Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for joining us and sharing all of the awesome progress that the Giving Block is having. To kind of wrap up and go with our holiday theme, just wanted to hear from you. What's something that brought you joy this year, and what are you hoping for next year?
Oh my God. Something that brought me joy. It's a very complicated feeling, but I've gotten to see my grandparents because they don't care that much about COVID-19. I hope they're being very careful, but they're sweet and they're awesome. I usually get to see them for like a week every year in Florida and hang out with them. So I'm grateful for the fact that I still get to see them. I'll get to see them for Christmas. And then thankfully, obviously, everyone in my family, everyone on our team, my friends, everyone's happy and healthy. So knock on wood, hopefully it stays that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And what are your big hopes for maybe yourself or the Giving Block for 2021?
Big hopes. So we're closing around. Again, we're a bootstrapped company, so we did it the old-fashioned way. We didn't, promise hugs and kisses and sell everybody blockchain. We built out an actual product and got people to buy it, but now it's time to definitely grow. So we're closing around. We're very excited for that, to be able to hire a larger team and to work with a lot more charities. We're going to do integrations with some charity companies and some crypto companies. So stay tuned on that front. And yeah, I mean, I'm really looking forward to moving the Overton window, I guess, also in crypto. By the end of next year, I want to make sure that everybody in crypto understands that it's really stupid to donate US dollars if you hold cryptocurrency to a nonprofit. So we're hoping to get that message out, and knock on wood, I think we will.
Awesome. Yeah, just to reiterate, donating your crypto is not spending it. Participate in Bitcoin Tuesday. Check out thegivingblock.com. Consider, partnering up if you're a crypto company, partnering up with the Giving Block to do kind of wider campaigns. And if you're a nonprofit or a university, you should be looking into crypto donations.
100%. We're fired up to work with MouseBelt University.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. We'll get in there. We're gonna get more. That's my goal for the future of blockchain. More universities accepting crypto donations. Well, thank you again so much, Pat. This is Pat Duffy from the Giving Block. You're tuning in to Reimagine 2020 version 5, our Happy Hodl Days end of year event. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later.